Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank be chopping, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so what we gonna be doing on this cut is we actually gonna be doing a mid-drop fade. We're leaving the length on top, but as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm just combing everything in its the way that it grows. That way I can actually see what the hair is doing before I start to cut. So now I'm going in with my Stylecraft Absolute Hitter, and it has that new Gamma X Pro blade on there. And as you can see, I'm setting in my initial bald guideline. And as you can see, I left a little dark area in the front, you know, towards the C-cup area. And the reason for that is I'm going to create a little ghost line, you know what I'm saying? I want the C-cup to be really dominant. So I'm keeping a little hair there. That way we can see it once we line it up and it can really pop a little more. Alright, so now that is done, I'm taking my custom FX Babyliss shaver and I'm taking the sides all the way down the skin. And once again, guys, the closer I get to that initial bald guideline, I'm making sure that I'm flicking out and not putting a lot of pressure. And once again, the reason for that is so it doesn't create such a harsh line and it gives a nice transition. So now I'm going in with my Cordless Oster fast feeds. Not the biggest fan of these, but I wanted to put out some content using them. But nonetheless, I have my number 4 guard on there, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just debulking the sides, giving myself a level playing field to go ahead and start my fade work. And as you can see, the closer I get to where that longer hair meets the shorter hair, I'm fading out and I'm really floating that clipper. That way it gives a nice transition from short hair to long hair. So now I'm going in with my clipper all the way open and I'm setting in my next guideline. And as you can see, towards the top of where I want my guideline to be, I am using a flick out motion. And once again, the reason for that is just to make this fade a little easier for me. That way I'm not creating too harsh of a line. So here is my number 1 guard, lever all the way open. And I'm doing the same thing, guys. I'm creating my next guideline using a slight flick out motion towards the top of where I want this guideline to be, and I'm still making sure that I'm following that same shape that I created with my bald guideline. And as you can see, I'm going over it a good amount of time, just making sure that I'm being really consistent with it and making sure that I get all of it down to that length. And here is my 0 guard lever all the way open, which technically makes this a 1, maybe even a little longer than a 1. And I'm flicking at that bottom line. And if I know this isn't gonna take that line out completely, so I'm gonna close my lever halfway and continue to flick at that line. And then if this doesn't get that line out, I'm gonna close my lever a little more until it's all the way closed and until that line is completely gone. And if it doesn't come out completely, that's totally fine, guys. I'll go back and detail it later on in the cut. Sometimes you just got to go through your steps first before you actually start too much detail work, because you may get lost or you may raise your fade too high without even trying to. So see, now I'm going in with my clipper open, just doing some small detail work. And now here is my number 3 guard, lever all the way open, making this a 3.5. And I'm gonna start doing some down fading technique. That way that number 4 guard fades into what I've already faded in on the sides. And once again, this is my 3 lever open. And as you can see, I'm really flicking, really floating, not putting too much pressure on the head, just really trying to get this transition to look good. Now my lever is all the way closed, doing the same exact thing, but coming slightly lower than what I did with that lever all the way open. So now I'm going in with my number 2 guard, lever open, doing the same thing, coming right below what I did with my number 3. And as you can see, the blend is already coming together. Yeah, I'm still not 100% done, but as you can see, it's coming together and it's looking nicer. I just closed my lever halfway, coming right below that. And now here is my this is my 0 guard right here. And basically what I'm doing now is I'm just doing some detail work. So I basically did all my steps and now I'm just gonna go back in and detail. And as you can see, I'm just using the corner of my blade, just flicking at a few lines, flicking at a few dark areas, just really trying to get this blend to look nicer, really pop more and just have a nice transition. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all guys, the only reason why I decided to use these clippers on this haircut is I seen Rum Barber post a video talking about they like the clippers, and he was putting out some fire cuts. At least from what I saw, they were looking pretty fire. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull these things back out, do a couple cuts with them. Let me get some tutorials with them, some more content. Cause y'all know how your boy does it, man. I do like to go by the clipper guru at times. So with that being said, I have to use different tools. I can't just be using the same tools over and over. So I really hope that y'all enjoy the fact that I'm doing different content with different tools. That way, not just one person can learn, or not just a group of people can learn, but basically anybody who cuts hair with any clipper can basically learn. And that's really the goal for me doing what I do. And y'all can pretty much see what I'm doing here. I'm going in with my lever. Well, I started off with it open, just did some detail work, and then I'm just adjusting my lever, basically doing some lever play, trying to get this blend to come together. Corner blending, flicking at these lines. And sometimes, oh, my voice just like cracked. I don't know what that was about. But sometimes you got to do this at the end of the cut, just to speed up your process. So I know some people, they won't even finish detailing. They'll line them up, go to the opposite side, finish the whole fading, and then come back. And that's a good option to do also. I just like to do one side at a time and make sure that everything is blended nice before I move on. And then once I'm done with the opposite side, I'll come back to this side and check it out and make sure that it still looks good. Because sometimes your eyes will play tricks on you, and sometimes you gotta just, move on and then come back and you can really see what's going on. Alright, so once again, I'm using my absolute hitter from Stylecraft. This is the X Pro blade once again. Matter of fact, if y'all want to get this tool or this blade, you can actually go to their website and you can use my discount code TANK10. The link is in my description. But nonetheless, lining up my client right here. And as y'all can see, this blade on this trimmer is really good. I like this blade on this trimmer more than the original blade. I did have the Chameleon blade from Babyliss, and I didn't take it off because I didn't like it. I just really wanted to try this blade on there and see what it did on this clipper or on this trimmer. But nonetheless, guys, as you saw me do, I did do some small detail work at the end after lining up my client, and now I'm moving to the opposite side. We're gonna be doing the same exact thing on this side. I'm going in with my number 4, debulking. Only difference is here is now I'm going in with my number 3, open, debulking. And I just, once again, guys, when I do my steps, I switch them up from time to time, but they're basically the same steps, just sometimes they're in a different order. But I'm gonna be doing basically the same thing on this side of the haircut and on the back. Unfortunately, I did not record the back, and the reason for that was I believe this was Thursday or Friday, and I was pressed for time. Had my next client coming in, so I just went ahead and recorded the sides for y'all. But anyways, as y'all can see, this haircut's coming together. I'm going back in. I'm just doing my same steps, following my process, trusting the process, and really we're gonna give this client a nice clean blend. Shout out to my boy Tito Beach for the beat. So after using these clippers for a couple more haircuts, I want to say maybe I was a little harsh on them the first original time. Obviously, there is a learning curve, at least for me there was, because I don't typically use the purple magnetic guards. Now I can use them, as y'all can see in this haircut, it's coming out pretty fire, right? But I normally don't use them, so there is a learning curve switching from one guard to the next. And then what threw me off the first time using this clipper was the amount of the length that the lever opened and the amount of how big the clipper open was. It kind of threw me off a little bit. I feel that it's bigger than the Masters, feel like it's better than the JRLs, but some people will say it's not. And you see me using the Gold Masters here, and the only reason for that was the fast feeds died on me, so I had to switch it up and get my Masters going. But I still wanted to use the same guard, so that's why I used the Masters. But like I was saying about the fast feeds, that longer lever kind of threw me off. But for after I kind of put it back to use and really started using them again, they're not a bad clipper. Like, yeah, I was kind of harsh on them the first time, but going back in and trying them and really taking my time and trying to learn them and not just trying to be too, what's the word I'm looking for? Too critical about them, that they're pretty good. I mean, yes, you have to move slightly slower because of the blade speed, but other than that, like, it doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. Like, you can be a little more precise when you move slower. Sometimes when you're moving fast, you're just on the go and you miss certain things. You may mess up and may have to go back and fix it. So sometimes moving slower isn't always a bad thing. And the good thing about the clippers also, guys, is they're more forgiving than a lot of other clippers that I have. You know, a lot of other clippers are super powerful. So as soon as you put that to the head or to the scalp, it like takes that hair down. And the good thing about these is you can flick out a line and it really won't take it out. It's kind of like point cutting or like blending shears in my eyes. So anyways, guys, going back to this cut, as you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of enhancements on the vertical bar on the C cup. And then we're gonna hit this with the razor and really make these lines to look even sharper. Remember, guys, when you're using the razor, you wanna make sure you stretch that skin tight. Alright, guys, so check it out. This is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe one time for your boy. Remember, guys, if you want a haircut from your boy, you can go to my website, tangbechopping.com. You can book on there. I am in the Houston, Texas area for anyone who is interested. But y'all just make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. Make sure y'all like these videos. And y'all stay tuned, guys. I got more content coming. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go. Yeah.